guys, this is not my usual day, but I did actually read the book I was supposed to review for today, and I have got to talk to you about it because I have read the new book by Sarah Hogle, which is called Old Flames and New Fortunes, and I have a lot of feelings about this book, and so we are really gonna have to talk about it. Again, this is an ARC review, so this book is not out yet. It will be out next week or so, but if you know anything about me, you know that Sarah Hogle's book, You Deserve Each Other, is absolutely my top 5, maybe even top 3, like on a particular day, my top romance novel of all time. I thought it was hysterical. I laughed so hard reading that book. It was so good. It was different. It was over the top and hilarious and just like so many feelings. I loved it so much. Ever since You Deserve Each Other, the books that she's put out since have been really touch and go for me. After that, she released a book called Twice Shy, which I also did review. It wasn't quite as good as You Deserve Each Other, but I didn't mind it. It was cute, it was sweet. But I did notice this thing between the characters where it was like their feelings were like super intense, particularly in that one, the female main character. I was just like, are you okay? Because it was like less like intense like attraction or feeling, but just like very intense use of emotion to like where it just kind of seemed to hurt. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird, but it's fine. It's only in one of them. The guy is like a super shy, cute cinnamon bun. It's adorable. I did not read her third book that came out after that, Just Like Magic. It is a Christmas romance, and if you know anything about me, I'm just not a fan. I did request it and I tried it and I just couldn't do it. So unlike the two Sarah Hogles that I have read, You Deserve Each Other and Twice Shy, Old Flames and New Fortunes is a little bit mystical and magical, maybe? It's in the eye of the beholder. So this is a town, a small town in which our main character, Romina, is living with a shop that is, well, kind of owned by her and her two sisters. It used to be in the family, but their mother sold it out of spite when their parents divorced, and now they are all working there in the hopes to get it back. All of them are descended from witches. They firmly believe that their grandmother was clairvoyant and could like tell prophecy. And Romina's one sister has the ability to like kind of like put emotions in candles. And Romina herself is what she calls a flora fortunist. She can kind of pair prophecy or a little bit of like foretelling with the vibes and feelings she gets from plants and what these plants mean. And so it's a little bit like they definitely think that they're witches, but there are other characters that are like, that's not magical. It's not like anybody's like turning anybody into a frog, right? So I choose to believe that they're definitely witches, but it's just on the cusp of like, this might be the real world or it might be magical. So when the shop was sold, it was sold to the son of a very successful financial entrepreneur named Trevor. Trevor did not go to college because he was convinced he was going to be just like his dad and make it big, and he bought like 5 properties that was supposed to be his college tuition money, and 4 of them failed. The girl's store is the only one that is still operating, and Trevor is gung-ho in his ability to keep pushing further, farther, faster. Sometimes in weird ways, like he is convinced for some reason that this witchy bookstore, candle store, flower store needs a burrito bar, but he's basically like their adopted brother. He's very outgoing and silly. However, as a group, they made the unfortunate decision to buy the lot next door to the store to try to expand, and they did not get an inspection before they did it. So it turns into a money pit. They've already planned to have a night market there, and they need an investor. Enter Trevor's dad. Now, Trevor's dad has still never forgiven him for these business decisions that he has made. But Romina, her sisters, and Trevor are convinced that if they can just pitch to him the whole idea of the night market and the addition, that they will be able to sway him. And so when Trevor's dad unexpectedly comes to town, they decide to go have a pitch meeting. Romina's sister is not able to make it, so it ends up being just Romina and Trevor that go. Come to find out that this is a surprise family get-together where Trevor's dad is announcing that he is getting married to the mom of Romina's high school boyfriend who broke her heart about 10 years ago, and she still has not forgiven him. A series of unfortunate events happen at this meeting. Before Romina and Trevor really understand what's going on, Trevor at this meeting runs into his ex-girlfriend, Teona. And he really loved her, and them being not together anymore really broke his heart. And so in order to kind of finish a joke and build back up his ego, Romina says that they are dating as just to get his ex-girlfriend and her very toxic cousin off of their back. One little lie begins to spiral, because now this cousin is telling Trevor's dad that they're together, and they think, oh, well, we can't tell him we were lying because we need him to lend us money. Then comes the reveal about him getting married to Romina's ex-boyfriend's mom, and voila, out of the ether appears Alex, Romina's ex-boyfriend, and then it becomes extra important to both of them to pretend to be dating to help the other get back at each other's ex. It's very complicated. Now, of course, Alex has his suspicions right away because Romina and Trevor really are just meant to be brother and sister. They are not sure how to be or act physically attracted to each other in any way, and it is clear from the first moment that Romina and Alex are still very much physically attracted to each other and still very hung up over what happened to them when they were both in high school. Fate, of course, during this wedding and these festivities are going to keep pushing them together, and other hijinks will ensue. Now, this book is a very complicated setup, and that might be part of the problem. I'm not a fan of fake dating in general. I think when it's done really well, it can be really funny. But for me, fake dating starts to become an issue when there are other feelings involved. And it is very clear, like I said, that Alex is still into Romina, Romina is still into Alex, Trevor is still into Teona, and Teona is still into Trevor. And so while they continue to spool out this lie, people like Alex and Teona really end up kind of on the short end of the stick, and it really doesn't end up being a great look for Trevor or Romina, because I can only imagine, based on the scenes that I read, that everyone knows. Everyone either knows that it's fake, or they totally think that Trevor and Romina are making eyes at people who are not their partner. It's very awkward and weird, and Teona especially, she's just a sweetheart, kind of on the edges of the story. She does not deserve this. Alex very clearly does not believe it and is on a mission to prove it. And so I was slightly hopeful that the fake dating thing wouldn't last that long. It unfortunately did. It's not the whole book, but it is a solid chunk of it. And again, for me, that just made me really uncomfortable. I did enjoy the book when that ruse was over, because then it gets to the really juicy part of a second chance romance for me, which is when the couple can really start to unpack all of this past baggage. And then there is another surprise that is dropped in, really just parachuted in on you, and you're like, oh, we're doing this now? I'm not going to spoil that one for you, but let me tell you what the larger issue is with this plot twist and everything like that. From the moment that Alex and Romina are in the room together, it is clear that they are attracted to each other, and painfully so. And I don't mean in the way that there's angsty, yes, tension, yes. But then there's this whole added layer on top of it where their attraction and their feelings for each other, they border on painful. And like I said in Twice Shy, it's one thing if it's one person, and this is just her personality is to be over the top. But for both of them to have this cataclysmic attraction to each other felt a little weird. You don't ever get Alex's point of view. This is a single POV from Romina, but it's weird. It just felt too much, especially in moments when Romina says to Alex, did you think after all of these years that I'd still be pining over you? And Alex is yes, it still should have been me. He genuinely thinks, even though it is very clear both of them have been sleeping with other people, it's not like they've been waiting, right, for 10 years, that he is very, very convinced that she should not in any way be over him, even though they haven't talked in like all of this time in between. And I was like, that's not attractive. Outside of that intense physical attraction and Alex just being super convinced that like they should still be together and like she should never have gotten over him, I did not know what the like emotional attraction was. They talk about people who like, you know, brought out other sides of each other, but like when they were high schoolers, and the book is very clear that both of them have learned and grown and become new people. So this idea that they could bring out like the other side of them and like get them to try new things or whatever, like it's not really applicable anymore. Romina keeps saying that Alex knows her like no one has ever known her. But again, they haven't talked in like a decade. And so like this familiarity that she feels with him, like what? The book just keeps like pushing you, like they're like so painfully physically attracted to each other that if they don't get back together, no matter the emotional pain of the past, they're just going to explode, and like not in the fun way of a romance novel. And I was just like, I don't get it though. Like I get that they're physically attractive, I get that they're physically attracted to each other and they have this unresolved history, but everything that was brought up as a reason why emotionally they might want to be like in a relationship, I didn't get it. And again, once there is this plot twist in the middle, things get very serious very fast, and it's just like they need to have a solid foundation or this is not going to work. All in all, I really loved the setting of the book. I really, really loved Romina and her siblings' magic and their store. Trevor and Tayona off on the side there were absolutely adorable comic relief. So I really, really liked the setting, and I think this is clearly going to be a series where Romina's two sisters are now going to get their romance novels, and I feel like I would definitely read those just to continue existing in the world. But this one in particular left me feeling emotionally unfulfilled, I would say, for the couple, which is really unfortunate because that is not the way that I left feeling You Deserve Each Other or Twice Shy. This one just didn't work for me. I would still absolutely recommend Sarah Hogle's books, especially You Deserve Each Other and also Twice Shy. But if you are thinking of breaking into her work and this is the first time you've heard her name, maybe don't start here. I mean, it's like hard, right? Because if you read this and then her other stuff, the other stuff will feel like a vast improvement. But if you read the other stuff and then read this, you might end up feeling disappointed, as I also feel. And again, like not in a like super disappointed, I never ever want to read anything from her ever again sort of way. Just like, oh, this just really didn't do it for me. And I was expecting something more. Again, this is an ARC review, so if you want to check this out yourself, you will have to wait a little bit, I'm sorry. But once it is out next week, you can check it out from your local library or get it from your local bookstore, however it is that you get your books. If you like the idea of the witchy sisters slash family running a store of witchy things, you could also read Erin Sterling's The Ex-Hex while you wait, because that is also a very excellent, very witchy book that I also highly recommend. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!